Here we are, live streaming.
Here we are, live streaming.
Yes, welcome, welcome, welcome to another episode of enLIGHTen with Diva and Deb. And today we are going to be talking about a memo that Deb got in meditation this morning.
Yes, okay. That was the throw to me.
That was a very good catch.
So in meditation this morning, just for some context, each morning, it is my earnest commitment to turn up every morning. And although my human head might be clear about what the day holds, I like to kind of check in at that deeper level. I'll leave the preamble, the question that I was holding and the intention that I was holding, and just share what came to me was the summary of it is, no matter what the question, the answer is always love. It came to me actually in the scripture. I couldn't quote the Bible, but we kind of all know it, that Jesus said, love God with your whole heart, mind and soul, and love your neighbor as yourself. So some translations say love your neighbor as yourself, or do unto others, the golden rule, do unto others. Yeah. And so, my questions were, well, what does that really mean? What does that really mean to love God with your whole heart, mind and soul, and love your neighbor as yourself? We've got lots of different definitions of love and different things that we conceive of that is love. Mm-hmm. So, if it's true that no matter what the question, no matter what the challenge, no matter what the problem, the answer is always love, how do we do that practically?
Well, first, it comes with understanding what exactly is love. Yes. We can't do that unless we know what is that. So in this context, right, when a lot of people think of love, they really only have a frame for romantic attraction, attachment, and that's much more of a that's far from what we're talking about here.
Yes, that's making me smile, because if we're to love all of our neighbours in that way, we could get ourselves into a lot of trouble. So we can exclude that it's romantic love.
Yeah. So agape love is the type of love that is that's the Greek term for the kind of love that is I deeply care for you. I've got your back, like that kind of I'm looking after you, unconditional, no reason. You don't need to do anything. I just love you kind of love. That sense of, well, in positive psychology would be what? Unconditional positive regard. Would you equate agape and unconditional positive regard? Would you say that those are the same?
Yes, that'd be pretty close, but it's probably godly or holy love. And I can understand why the Bible and other religions give us this idea of God as a person separate from us, so that we can understand and quite often in the Bible, it refers to God as our Father, our Heavenly Father. And so when you think about paternal love, you're describing that, I love you because you are. And when you think about paternal love, there is not just, I will accept anything and all is good, but a parent will be firm to say no to certain things and will encourage some things. And there is a feeling of adoration. To a parent, their child is always
adorable.
Yes, adorable. Although my mind also said, not all parents are like that, actually. But when a parent is looking through the eyes of love, and we know that we can shift in and out of that as humans. So sometimes we're not looking through the eyes of our love, we're looking through parenting eyes, but we're, doing some other thing like worrying about their future or that kind of thing. So when we're in that moment of just looking through the eyes of love, yes, it's adoration there.
Of course, when we're in this state of worry about their future or something like that, then from that state, the behavior that comes out will be some kind of form of judgy something rather than just the clean appreciation for who they are. And it's really important to acknowledge the firmness that exists in that love that's there, that it's not always fluffy and I say yes to everything. And I think that it's a common misconception that because typically we speak of love as being expansive and right, love is expansive, fear is constrictive. That expansive means always yes. That's a common misconception, that expansive means to be permissive, to be agreeable with all that's offered, and that's not the case at all.
And loving is often partnered with the word warm. Oh, they're very warm and loving. And the kind of behavioural images that come to mind when we think about a description of somebody being warm and loving, it's soft and yielding and embracing, not kind of like, or not like that mama bear energy, like out of my way, I need to save my child, and which is, can feel quite sharp too. So practically, how do we so I had some questions in my mind as I was meditating if here is the analogy I'm giving: love God with your whole heart, mind and soul, and love your neighbor as yourself. How practically are we to do that? I asked the question, whole heart, whole mind, whole soul. What does that mean to be living that? Is that really possible? Because what came to my mind then is in every moment. That's what it feels like to be whole heart, whole mind, whole soul. The heart and the mind are not wandering off to other things. It's wholly on this. And so I asked that question, what does it mean to wholeheartedly, whole mindfully, whole soulfully be doing this? And the encouragement that came to me is to be having an ongoing question. What would love have me do? What would I be needing if I was in that other person's? In other words, do the question that's the second position shift. Now we know we rarely need rescuing, right? We need, if I was in a difficult situation, what do I truly need? I need to be pointed back to myself and my resourcefulness. So quite often we do have what's required to be giving love to others. And that answer, have this ongoing question. Is this aligned with love? What would love have me do? What would I be needing? What would be a loving intervention for me right now? Reminded me of some very wise guru said, we should have an ongoing question in our mind. Who am I? Who said that? Who am I? Who am I? Who am I? Starts with R. No.
Maharishi. I don't remember.
We can't pronounce the name right now, but very well known, very wise man. And it reminded me actually of the power of the ongoing question. You know, we in our group are asking from the last retreat, asking the question, where are you in relation to the line? I can have an ongoing question. Am I awake? Am I present? Where am I in relation to the line right now? And so here's 3 instances of wisdom saying, have an ongoing question. What is the question that keeps you conscious on this? And that this is the kind of generalized learning that we can have. The question helps to keep us awake and keep us in line with our intention. And that is to acknowledge that we will always kind of drift off. So to be wholeheartedly, whole mindfully and whole soulfully in love with the God essence and in love with others. The way to do this practically is to be asking an ongoing question. Whatever you might like to make yours. What would love have me do is one that I used to ask. It could be, how can I be loving? It could be, what would be loving for me in their position?
I think the thing that's more important that comes before asking that question, because I know from experience sometimes the logical, rational mind would love to tell us, I'm awake, when really we might not be fully actually awake to loving our neighbor as ourselves. And so just really checking in that we are fully grounded, centered, breathing is even, all of that as precursors to asking those questions, because the thing that comes to me as I hear you say that is the quality of the response is going to match the quality of the state that we're in, right? So the same question will be received very differently.
That's right, because in an aligned, grounded, connected energy, it's important to say no here. The most loving thing to do is to say no. Will be experienced very differently to, no, I really need to, they need to learn this and it's time they learned their lesson and I'm going to ensure that. It's kind of got a whole different energy to, the energy definitely informs how it's delivered. And whether the no is actually wisdom or not, or even the yes.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes our rescuing feels like, yes, this is the thing to do right now. And when really we're doing some other thing. Okay.
Yeah, I'm thinking about how that applies practically for a situation that I had where the answer is, no matter the question, the answer is always love. I had a friend ask me to support him with a new initiative. And I didn't really feel like the support is yes, of course, I support you in all your initiatives, but in terms of, do I want this particular thing that you're offering? It didn't feel like there was any desire for that. And still I checked in, I took it to meditation to see, is there perhaps that's just the humans, like, I don't want that. And there might be a deeper sense of, you meant to support this person in this way. And meditation and wisdom basically said, an equivalent of that, it's like there will be learnings in whatever you choose when you deliver it with love, when you say it lovingly. Like, it doesn't matter if you say yes or no, if you say it in love, like, it doesn't matter as long as you're in that space of love. So yeah.
Well, I do invite everyone who's listening in to really take that encouragement seriously, no matter what the question, no matter what the problem. The answer is always love. I know that when I first started hearing things like this that seemed very simplistic, I would be very argumentative in my mind, and I'd come up with all of these counter examples like, well, that can't be right for rapists and pedophiles and murderers, or, you know, or what have you. I'm just giving you extreme examples. I didn't want to receive such a simplistic encouragement. And in a way, it's not simplistic, because the application of it is actually very challenging and complex. It's not an easy answer at all, right?
Because it involves learning what is love.
Yeah. So I really invite those who are listening in to really try it on and explore it, because my very skeptical, resistant, argumentative mind helped me to learn how profound a truth it is. It's like, right, I'll show you. I'm going to find an example where it doesn't work. But I actually used it to try and prove that it didn't work. And that was when I really found the power of it. So I invite us to really, really give it a go.
Yeah.
Have the question, what would love have me do right now? Or whatever is your ongoing question, develop an ongoing question that helps you to orientate to a loving response. And then try actually delivering that loving response and see what happens, and make your decision about whether it works or not from the data that you gather.
That's really important, because there are a lot of people that are skeptical, so skeptical that they don't even give it a go. They don't even try it. And I would say that that's not skeptical so much as closed-minded, right? Because the skeptic has a curiosity about them that's like, I don't really believe this, but there's a willingness to test, right? So that letting that skepticism be combined with have a go and try it out and see, collect your own data, discover how effective it really is when you hold the frame. The answer to every question is love.
Great presupposition for the week.
Good place to wrap up today's episode as well. So we'll be back tomorrow with another episode and see what emerges then. Thanks for
So we send this to you with love, of course. So bye with love.
Bye for now.
Okay.
Love.
Bye.